90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents the Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And good morning once again, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here on a Saturday morning. It is just after 8:30. I'm Randy Olson live in studio along with Danny Anselment. And Danny, we've got a busy show today. We're actually going to have guest in studio with us this morning, too. They're going to brighten things up a little bit.
That's kind of unusual to get people to be able to come in and join us.
Yeah, because we're kind of in the middle of everywhere here in Wayne City. And so a lot of times we do our interviews over the phone, and we'll have some more over the phone today, but we'll also have some guests in studio with us as well. Joining us in just a little bit on the phone is going to be webcaster Dave Rigg, who's been covering the Edwards County Lions and Lady Lions baseball and softball. And those Lions baseball team, they are headed up to Louisville today, weather permitting, to take on North Clay in a sectional championship. That'll be a big one.
That'll be a big game up there today for Edwards County. And you talk about a school that's really turned things around up there, Randy. Back to the old adage, winning breeds winning, because all those teams up there seem to be having a lot of success right now.
Yeah, sure will. Then following our discussion with Dave, we'll be visiting with Claire Miller. She is the pitching sensation for the Wayne City Indians, just finished up a brilliant career. But she's not only a great pitcher, a great hitter, too, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you know, when you look at her overall statistics, you'll be pretty impressed.
Yeah, and we'll talk about where she's going to play softball in college. That'll be a lot of fun visiting with her. Also, the Woodlawn Cardinals have a new boys basketball coach, and that is Brian Gamber. He's no stranger to anyone, but he takes over as the new head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals boys basketball team. We'll visit with Brian this morning. I know he's excited.
I'm sure he's excited, but I'm sure there's also some apprehension there. Look at the shoes he's going to have to try to fill.
Yeah. Some big shoes to fill there, that's for sure. Also going to visit with Tommy Kent, the athletic director of Frontier Community College. They are getting ready to break ground on a brand new baseball field over there as they start their baseball program. And we'll talk to him about that. That's exciting.
I'm sure they're really fired up about that, because that's just another step in making that an all-around college over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really neat. They've got a softball program going now, and now they're adding baseball to the mix, so that's great. Also coming in studio later on this morning, going to be a couple of girls track outstanding athletes who just made it to the state finals in the Class 1A state track meet, and that is Leslie Drone and Raegan Halley of Hamilton County. You know those girls well, and they'll be in studio with us.
Know those young ladies personally. Look forward to visiting with them this morning, and we're going to see if we can't get a race set up between you and them.
Oh, well, that won't be very pretty. I can already tell you who will win that, and it won't be me. Yeah. And then we're going to wrap up the show this morning by visiting with Frank Cusumano, sportscaster from KSDK-TV, Channel 5 in St. Louis. Frank will definitely have some input and some opinions on the whole season that just concluded with the St. Louis Blues. And, of course, we'll talk about the Cardinals. And we may also be talking about the possibility of of St. Louis getting either a franchise in soccer or perhaps an NBA franchise, because they're getting ready to renovate and spend a lot of money renovating the arena over there where the Blues play at, the Scott Trade Center.
Mm-hmm.
And by renovating that and doing what they're doing to it, they could dangle a carrot out there to perhaps a struggling NBA team someplace, or again, they still could be looking at a soccer franchise too. But we'll talk to Frank about that.
Be interesting to see. I'm wanting to see if anybody's getting more nervous about these Cardinals. You know, this pitching staff. I told you a week ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
This is the pitching staff the Cardinals really wanted. This ain't like they've got 3 or 4 broke down people in here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How long does Matheny stay with Watka? And I'll tell you, Martinez is not setting the world on fire right now.
No, he's not. And there's a couple of young guys in the farm system that may get a shot here soon. They may take a look at them and bring them up and give them a chance to pitch and just shake things up a little bit.
They may need a wake-up call.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens. But you want to run through some of the baseball scores from sectionals and regionals yesterday, and then I'll get Dave Rigg on the line, our first guest this morning.
All righty. 1A sectional yesterday. Cobden defeats Woodlawn 5-0. North Clay defeats Oblong 9-4. Edwards County over South Central 7-3, and that sets up a North Clay Edwards County matchup today, weather permitting. In 2A sectional scores, Carmi Bulldogs, they keep advancing. They beat Nashville 5-3. Murfreesboro ends Ziegler Royalton's run 9-1. T-Town picks up a victory 6-1 over Trenton Westland. Newton 10, Piazza Southwest 9. In 3A, Mount Vernon 4, Salem 2. A young man from Mount Vernon got hit in the face, Blake Jones, and he wound up with a broken nose, but Mount Vernon hangs on to win 4-2. Columbia 1, Muscuda nothing. Effingham 7, Massac County 1. Freeburg 8, Highland 6, Triad 13, Jerseyville 5, Waterloo 12, Cahokia nothing.
All right, and weather permitting, they're going to try to play some more regional and sectional baseball games today, including a big one that Dave Rigg is headed up north to in Louisville, as Edwards County is going to play North Clay today, weather permitting, that you alluded to, and he's on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Dave. Hello, Dave, are you there? Yeah, he's going.
You just thought you had him.
Well, I had him a minute ago, but he's going through a tough cell area right now. I don't think we got him. We may have to reconnect with him here in just a second. Dave, we'll try coming back to you. But yeah, they got that win over South Central 7-3, and then North Clay beat Oblong 9-4, as you mentioned. And you know, North Clay's got a great baseball program, and with them playing the game on their field today, that
it'll be a big hurdle for the Edwards County Lions, but. You know, Edwards County's played very well all season long. Look for them to have a good game up there today. I hope the weather permits. So it'll be interesting to see. The winner of that will be sectional champions. So big game for Edwards County today. Also, like I said, Carmi defeated Nashville 5-3, and T-Town beat Trenton Westland 6-1. Ziegler Royalton falls to Murfreesboro 9-1, and I guess an interesting turn of that is you got to tip your hat to the ZR coach. He's got a young man down there that's been a great pitcher for him all season. Matter of fact, hasn't lost a game, and there's not been a run. I think his ERA was 0.00.
Wow.
And
wow.
But he pitched him earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't throw him. He didn't bring him back. He didn't force this kid. He knows he's got a great opportunity to do some big things in college, and you got to tip your hat. You know, sometimes
didn't want to hurt his arm.
Yeah, you know, he'd thrown 95 pitches in the game 3 days before that, and he could have brought him back on 3 days rest, but that's just against his code. And hats off to that guy down there for having these guns and sticking to them.
Yeah. Okay, I think Dave has rejoined us right now. Dave Rigg, are you there?
Yeah, Randy. I'm on my way up to Louisville. We're between Mount Airy and Sisney out here in the boondocks, so I hope our signal didn't drop out again.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of cell towers in that area, that's for sure. Preview that matchup for us today between your Lions of Edwards County and the North Clay Cardinals.
Well, Randy, I think it's going to be a ball game if we get it in. I'm right now seeing raindrops on my windshield as we're making this trip up here, and I looked at the radar on the way up here, and it doesn't look too promising. So, you know, I just hope that whatever rain is in the area will get through before the 11 o'clock starting time today, because we had rain before the start of the game Wednesday, and we got it in. But I think it's going to be a good ball game. It kind of depends on who Edwards County pitches today, and I really don't know that much about North Clay other than what I've read, and you know, they're going to be playing on their home field, and obviously they'll have a lot of fans there to back them, but Edwards County has also gotten on Facebook, some of the fans, and encouraging more Edwards County people to be there today to try to counteract it. But if Edwards County plays the kind of baseball that I think they're capable of playing, I think they're going to win it.
Well, tell us about the win over South Central, because that's a good baseball program that they beat.
Yeah, it is, and their pitcher Geiler really had Edwards County stymied. They took the lead 1-0 when Edwards County in the second inning messed up a defensive play and gave them a run. And then in the fifth inning, I believe it was, pitcher Nathaniel Schmidler hit a home run to tie the score. But then South Central came back and scored 2 runs, and going into the last inning, the bottom of the seventh, Edwards County was down 3-1, and Edwards County pushed across a couple of runs to tie the score. Then and Eli Moss, and sometimes pitcher cracked one over the right field fence for a walk-off grand slam home run, and Edwards County won it 7-3.
Well, Dave, Edwards County has really turned things around up there in all sports programs this season. You've had a pretty successful run following boys and girls both up there this season, haven't you?
Yeah, we really have. We've always had an outstanding girls volleyball program, and I think that's going to continue under Coach Nikowski. And the only program really that has suffered over the years has been the football program, and I think that's going to improve, getting out of this, what I call this stinking Little Illini Conference next year. I think, not that we're going to all of a sudden turn around and be a 9-0 football team, but I think we're going to start picking up some wins in the Black Diamond that we just can't pick up in the LIC. Well,
you look at Russ Gerlach's kind of got that basketball program headed in the right direction. They made a pretty good run this season. They probably had a little more success than a lot of people thought. Then the baseball and softball teams have both been pretty successful here in this postseason run. So things have to be pretty upbeat in Edwards County right now.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. And you're right about Coach Gerlach. He really has turned the basketball program around. He's come in and taken the bull by the horn, so to speak, and shown these players that, hey, he's the boss, and you're going to play it the way I want it played, or you're going to sit on the bench. And that was something that was kind of missing in the past. And, I'm looking forward to next year. My grandson, Bobby Brake, will be probably the starting point guard as he was this last season. He stands, right now he's 6'1", but he's still growing. That's pretty good size for a point guard. We are going to miss a couple of big boys, or at least one big boy in Maverick Toyer. He graduated. But Nathaniel Schmittler, who probably will pitch today on the baseball team, he's 6'5", and so he'll be back. He was the leading scorer for the Lions in basketball last year. And I think, the boys that will come in and replace those who graduated this year will be just as good as those who graduated. So basketball program should be good. And again, by the absence of the LIC, our record's going to improve. Because, man, when we go up against the Robinsons and the Alneys and these bigger schools in the LIC, it's really tough to compete.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to next. I think joining the Black Diamond Conference is going to be a great move for Edwards County, and it's going to be a good move for the Black Diamond Conference. I think it's a well-rounded fit. There's going to be some real nice matchups there. Going to renew some rivalries and some things like that. When I went to school at Hamilton County, which it was actually McLeansboro, we always played Edwards County home and away, and always had great matchups, and the gyms were always full, and I look for some good things out of Edwards County coming to the Black Diamond.
There's no doubt about that, Danny. We used to, when I was in high school also, we played just about all of the Black Diamond schools in our sports, and I did some figuring, and by going to the Black Diamond next year, the Edwards County School District is going to save over 1,000 miles in travel as compared to the miles they would have traveled had they stayed in the LIC.
Well, right now in school situations, that's a big factor right there just in itself.
Sure.
But also, not only for the school systems, Dave, but for the fans and all those type of people, it's going to give them more of a chance to go and maybe make a trip to watch a game than they would on some of these long road trips that they had in the past.
Oh, yeah, those light trips to Paris up there and Marshall and all that stuff, especially in the wintertime. And not only that, the elderly Edwards County sports fans, they're less likely to get out and drive at night a long distance as compared to what we're going to have in the Black Diamond. But, every coach that I've talked to in the Black Diamond, as Edwards County has played a few Black Diamond teams this year in the other sports, they're all in favor of Edwards County coming in. They like the idea, too.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody's excited about it, and I think they're a real good fit for the Black Diamond Conference.
Oh, no doubt about that. So getting back to this baseball game today, I don't know who Coach Duncan. That's an interesting thing. I want to throw this in. There were a couple of things that happened during the game Wednesday that, if you don't have a copy of the NFHS rule book, sometimes you can kind of get mixed up as to what's happening on the field because people kind of get the idea whatever they see on a Major League Baseball field should also apply to a high school game. But the South Central coach went to the pitching mound for defensive conferences. I forget what inning it was, but he went out there the third time. Well, a bunch of Edwards County fans started saying, "Hey, you got to take the pitcher out." Actually, I started hollering that when he went out the second time. And the NFHS rules, which apply to high school sports in Illinois, say that a coach can go out to the pitching mound for a defensive conference 3 times without having to replace the pitcher. Now, if he goes out a 4th time in the same inning, then he has to take the pitcher out. Now, another rule, after Eli Mawson hit that grand slam home run, as he was going between third and home plate to score that run after the home run, he flipped his batting helmet in the air like you see all the Cardinal players and Major League Baseball players do on a walk-off hit.
Right.
Well, the umpires had a conference afterwards, and even some of the sports writers who were there for the newspapers wrote it up saying that the umpires called him out for throwing his helmet. Well, I knew that couldn't be right, and so I researched the rule. The only thing an umpire can do in a situation like that, and it only applies if the ball is live. Well, obviously the ball was dead once it went over the fence for the home run, so whatever he did wasn't going to matter. But anyhow, if a batter does throw his helmet while the ball is live, they don't call him out, but the umpire can issue a warning to him, and if he does it again, then he can throw him out of the game. But that's just a couple of the rules that, the people who don't follow baseball by getting the rule books out can get kind of confused when things happen on the field that you don't really understand.
Interesting concept there. The rules do apply a little bit differently in high school than they do in the Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah, not only that, but the substitution rules. That's something that's always got me. I'm old school, Once a player leaves the lineup, to me, he's out of the game. But that's not the way it is in both softball and baseball. So, it can be kind of confusing. You think, well, so-and-so just left the lineup. Well, that's it for him. But that's not necessarily so. So, they can bring him back in, and that's what happens quite often in both baseball and softball. They have your courtesy runners in both baseball and softball. So it gets interesting.
Yeah. All right, Dave, well, we got to let you go. We got more guests lined up, but thanks so much for joining us this morning, and good luck. I hope you get the game in today up there at North Clay High School as your Edwards County Lions take on North Clay for a sectional championship.
Well, thank you, Randy. And again, I want to thank you for all you do to make it possible for me to cover these games for the many Edwards County fans.
All right, no problem. Have safe travels up there, okay? Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
It's webcaster Dave Rigg of Albion as he's on his way to Louisville, and hopefully they'll get that in today, Dave, the sectional championship game between, not Dave, Danny, North Clay and Edwards County today.
Yeah, this weather for this postseason has been quite a challenge.
Man, has it ever.
So, anyway.
All right, stay tuned when we come back. We're going to talk to pitching and hitting sensation Claire Miller of Wayne City. She's in studio with us. Going to brighten things up in here a little bit this morning. She's coming on the show next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9, The Vine, and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio is grateful for the underwriting support of Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon. Located at 328 Main Street in Mount Vernon, Taylor Flooring specializes in the sales, service, and installation of top brands such as Mohawk, Southwind, and LW Mountain. 100% locally owned and operated by Mark and Sherry Taylor, Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon has your flooring needs covered. Their phone number is 315-6004.
Hamilton County Flooring on the south side of the square in McLeansboro offers a full line of flooring, cabinets, and countertops for your home or business. Countertops or showers are available in granite, quartz, corian, custom marble, or ceramic tile. Their showroom includes a complete line of flooring available in ceramic tile, cork, bamboo, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and carpeting, including name brands such as Armstrong, Bruce, Marazzi, Mulligan, Shaw, and Tarkett. We thank Hamilton County Flooring in McLeansboro for their support. Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. It's not often that we have in-studio guests, Danny, but we got a bunch of them today, and that's kind of good.
That's a great thing. But I was just made an observation here. This is pretty amazing.
Okay,
I said,
what's that?
You put your glasses on to read this small print.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here holding mine up, looking underneath them so I can see it. If we ain't quite the pair.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. But we've got somebody that's going to brighten up the studio for us a little bit right now, and that is Claire Miller. She just wrapped up an incredible softball career at Wayne City High School for the Lady Indians. Obviously, a lot of people know her for her pitching prowess, but she was an incredible hitter, too. And Claire, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Vine, and welcome to the Sports Couch. Good to see you. Oh, it helps if I turn your microphone on. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Okay, yeah, welcome to the show. All right. Is it kind of sad knowing that your high school career is over?
Yes, it's very sad. I didn't expect it to be over yet, but
yeah, that was quite a finish to that regional championship game between your Lady Indians and Edwards County. It came down literally to the 12th inning and a bang play at the plate, and boy, that was really close on that tag there.
yes.
Did you think you had her out or not?
I personally think I did. I went to tag her with my glove first, and I realized the ball wasn't in there, so
Right.
then I tagged her other foot with my with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But he said I didn't. So
Yeah, I saw a series of pictures in the Wayne County Press, and even those photos, it's you know, the angle is such that you can't really tell whether you had you had the ball on her or not. I mean, it's such a close play, but and you've had quite some battles with Edwards County through the years. I mean,
Yeah.
in softball, you really have. They're a good team, and Wayne City's always been a good team. You went to state last year, and so it was really something to come down to that game for a regional title.
yeah, it's always tough playing them.
Yeah, it really is. Well, looking at your stats, and Danny, we were just marveling at this, before the show, and looking at her batting stats as well as her pitching stats, and she has a career ERA of 0.88 in her career, 14 no-hitters, and she pitched a total of 562 in the third innings, and during those 562-plus innings, she struck out 1,121 batters while only walking 99. That's pretty impressive.
That's throwing the ball around the plate.
That really is. And you've got a lot of different pitches that you throw, don't you, Claire?
Yes, I have 6 different pitches: fastball, changeup, screw, curve, rise, and drop.
Wow. What do you think of that, Danny?
And she's got them all mastered.
She does.
I don't want to bat against her.
No, I'm telling you don't want to. About a year and a half ago, we put together kind of a promotional video with her. I had a chance to film some of that in a indoor facility and had to stand there by the plate while she was throwing them. Pretty scary. I was flinching just a little bit, let me tell you. Pretty scary. But, 6 different pitches. So tell us, when did you finally realize that softball, at what age did you realize, hey, I'm going to be a pretty good softball player. This is my sport.
I started pitching in 5th grade, but I didn't really think about college and wanting to play after high school until my 7th or end of 8th grade in that area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you've made a commitment and signed a letter of intent to continue your college playing career at Southwest Baptist University in Bolivar, Missouri, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
And I'm sure you had a lot of colleges interested in your talent and a lot of places you could have gone. What was it about SBU that was a decision maker for you?
It actually wasn't even on my list. It came out of nowhere at the end of last summer, and I went and visited. I love the coach. It's like a small town kind of. Well, it's bigger than Wayne City, but it's got that atmosphere, and it kind of reminded me of home, and it was just an offer I couldn't pass up.
Mm-hmm. And it's not so far away that your mom and dad and others who want to go watch you play can watch you play. Not only the home games there, but the teams you play on your schedule, I guess, right?
Yeah, they'll be able to come to most games because we'll play on the weekends and stuff.
Yeah, okay. Who are some of the other colleges that they play there at SBU?
We'll play one game in St. Louis.
Okay.
But we play more towards Kansas in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually farther, but.
Okay. But you'll make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's exciting. I assume that they recruited you and they want you to come there because of your pitching, but they have to be equally impressed with your hitting.
Yeah. We haven't talked about it a whole lot about me hitting, but there's a chance I could.
Yeah. Danny, look at those batting statistics that she's got. I mean, she batted in 106 games and has 103 RBIs for her career in 106 games, scored 101 runs, and has a lifetime batting average of 464, on-base percentage of 538.
Yeah, when she came up to bat, she was going to put a tally on the scoreboard.
I'm telling you. Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, she stole 25 bases, and in 304 at-bats, she only struck out 30 times. So, obviously, you know the strike zone, not only as a pitcher but as a hitter.
Yeah, I think pitching probably helped with that a little.
Oh, I would say it has. Yeah, it has. So, being such a good hitter as well as a good pitcher, which do you enjoy the most?
Pitching.
Yeah, okay. You spent a lot of time. You
Yeah.
spent a lot of time working on your pitching.
Put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, but so many times, Danny, we see good pitchers that really aren't that good hitters. But
Well,
she's an exception to the rule.
Right. Well, you know, you even look at major league sports.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys that can really do a good job pitching, and they go up there. They might as well just stayed at the dugout because that was the same thing. This
Yeah.
young lady here, she comes up to bat. Like I said, she scored 101 runs.
Mm-hmm.
She had 103 RBIs. You know, she was going to score
Yeah.
a run for you when she came up.
Yeah, in 106 games.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's really amazing. The OPS, which is a combination of on-base percentage and slugging percentage, is 1.213. That's incredible. I mean, that really is. That means that you're contributing and you're doing something to help your team all the time. I mean, and that's really exciting. It really is. Well, let's go back to your high school career and talk about the highlights. Obviously, one of those has to be the trip to the state tournament last year and bringing home the hardware, right?
Yes,
Yep.
that was amazing.
Talk about that.
We honestly, I mean, always our goal from my freshman year, you know, was to make postseason and get as far as we could. But we never actually probably dreamed we'd go to state. But it was an experience that I will never forget. I mean, we made history at Wayne City.
Absolutely.
Never been past sectionals, got that sectional championship. And it was, wow, I don't know. It's hard to explain what it's like at state.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? 20 years from now, it'll mean a lot more to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it will. And not only that, the experience that you had as a team, but these individual accolades, too. I mean, obviously, you've rewritten the record book at Wayne City in virtually every category of softball, whether it be pitching or hitting. And really, when you take a look at these stats and you put them up against other softball players who have come from this region, Danny, I mean, she's arguably one of the greatest softball players to ever come out of Southern Illinois. Yeah, period. And that's got to make you feel really proud.
Yeah.
I know it makes mom and dad really proud, I'm sure. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the effort and the time you have to spend, Claire, to have this success that you've had.
It's taken a while. Like I said, I started in 5th grade, pitching lessons every week, pitching 3 more days that week outside of lessons. It took a lot, but it's all paid off.
Yeah, it's paying off very well for you. But, you know, that's what gets lost, the sacrifices. I'm sure there's been a lot of times you'd like to have went and done something with your friends or something like that.
Yeah.
And you had pitching lessons or something like that. So don't think that the success, folks, just comes – she didn't just walk in and do this.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot of work behind the scenes. Well, we want to give you a chance to give some credit to many coaches and instructors and people like that who have helped you along the way. I know you've got a lot of people you'd probably like to mention and thank that have helped you in a variety of things. So go ahead.
First, my mom and dad, they have sacrificed great amount of time. Every weekend they're gone, going to tournaments, week-long tournaments, taking off work. My brother, funny thing is, when I started my travel ball in St. Louis, he said he went up to my mom and told her that he would take a step down from his travel team so I could go and get my college scholarship.
Wow.
Which was amazing.
Wow.
My grandparents, they come to all my games. My pitching coach, Robbie Tate, started with him in 5th grade.
Wow.
Still going. Yep.
You see him asking if he wants to go back to General Tire and work.
My coaches from Wayne City, Tony, Karen, Joe from freshman year.
Yeah.
And my St. Louis Chaos coach now, Mike, and that organization. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have got this scholarship.
Awesome. And talk about that, because you're actually supposed to travel over and have a game today, weather permitting, on the travel team, right?
Yes. I played with them for 2 years now, or this will be my 3rd year. And are a big organization out of St. Louis, and we were playing it. We're actually hosting this tournament, and it's a big one.
Great.
So.
Yeah. How did you get connected with that St. Louis Chaos travel team? How did they find you, or you find them, or what happened?
When I was first started, I played with the Southern Illinois Dirt Dogs, and we were actually playing in Mattoon at a tournament, and we were playing the St. Louis Chaos when a rain delay came. And so we both went under the pavilion, and we kind of had like a dance party. We were little. And so I got to meet all of them and the coach, and then like a few years later, I knew I wanted to play college ball, so I knew I needed to step up and get on a bigger team. And I remembered them, and I really loved their coach and the organization, and so I contacted them and tried out and been playing with them ever since.
Awesome. And when you go on to college at SBU, what do you plan on majoring in, do you know?
Sports management as of now.
There you go. And I'm sure she's going to be successful at it, Danny.
She's going to be successful in anything she puts her mind to, I can tell you that.
Well, she's got that work ethic,
That's right.
And that's what it takes. You got that work ethic. Well, I'll tell you what, tip of the cap to you. What a career, Claire, and you've got so much more ahead of you, and we really appreciate you coming in and spend some time with us this morning on the Sports Couch and sharing it with us. And we know that there's a lot of people listening and going to be watching also on cable television and Futiva and stuff later on, too, to see this interview. So thanks for your time, and congratulations again on a wonderful, wonderful career.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk to the new head basketball coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. That's right. As Brian Gamber is going to be taking over for Shane Witzel, who has announced his retirement. We'll talk to Brian coming up next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
Crawford Plumbing, LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio. Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Auto Sales and Service for their faithful underwriting support. Fairfield Auto Sales and Service employs ASE certified mechanics and offers quality pre-owned vehicles as well as full service and tire installation. They are an authorized rough country dealer for your vehicle's suspension needs. They are located at 4706 Broadway in Mount Vernon across from Lowe's. Their phone number is 204-5900 and their website is ffautosales.com. Uniquely Rustique in downtown Fairfield is a faithful underwriting sponsor of 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Need help with that spring dance or upcoming wedding? Uniquely Rustique specializes in all varieties of silk flowers and greens. Uniquely Rustique also specializes in Memorial Day pieces and Melissa and Doug toys for the kids. Uniquely Rustique in downtown Fairfield, 842-3544.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Well, I enjoyed that interview a moment ago with Claire Miller. We could have talked more time with her, but we got so many other guests to get on this morning. But she is really, really fun to talk to.
Got a bright future in front of her. She's going to be a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she sure is. And joining us on the phone right now is a guy who has put himself in position to take over one of the most historic basketball programs in Class 1A basketball in the state of Illinois. That's the Woodlawn Cardinals. That's Brian Gamber. He's the new head coach, taking over for Shane Witzel, who has announced that he is stepping down after an incredible career. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch this morning, and I know you've got to be excited about taking over the reins of the Woodlawn Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an exciting time. I've enjoyed the 2 years that I've spent there as an assistant and getting to know, the kids, and my time with Coach Witzel and Coach Owens has been amazing. And, the run that we went on this past year was just a great run for our guys, and we were so happy for them. And now, we're looking forward to get our summer workouts going and starting the process of being the head coach and continuing, the success and the hard work that Coach Witzel put in for all those years.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you, you've got some big shoes to fill. I know you realize that, but I mean, in many ways, Brian, I think you're a lot like Shane. I mean, you guys are kind of cut from a lot of the same mold, and I think you're going to just step right in and do an excellent job.
Well, thank you. And, we are. 2 years ago, whenever I came in, getting to know Coach Witzel and being around the program, I see a lot of similarities in him that I have. He's not a screamer. He's not a yeller. He's kind of laid back. He doesn't show a whole lot of emotion whenever he's coaching or playing. And that's something that I connected with. That's kind of how I've always been, at an early age playing and then all the way through coaching. That's just kind of my personality. So to be able to be around somebody like him for 2 years and see how he communicates with the kids and how he works game plans, and during the game, how he stays calm and still gets the most out of all of our kids, it's been huge for me. It's been a great blessing to be able to be around him and learn and figure things out. And so obviously through all of that, I'm just excited about starting this process.
Brian, you hit kind of on a key factor there about being prepared and things like that. Coach I played for, David Lee, he said, guys, he said, if we're not prepared when we come on the floor on Friday night, we might as well just all get back on the bus and go home, because it's too late to get prepared when game time. Game time's about execution, and he said, we've put the work in all week, now let's go execute. And I thought that was a key point you touched on right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in a perfect world from a coaching standpoint, on game nights, it'd be the best if you could just show up and sit down on the bench and watch your guys do what you want them to do. Obviously, that doesn't always work out all the time, but like you said, it's important to know, and our guys need to understand that, all the hard work, the preparation, that goes into practice before the game. And that's one thing. Our guys like to play. We got a lot of good kids that love the game, and they like to work at it. So, every practice, we got guys that like to compete and go after one another, and that's huge. I think if you have that and you can have competitive practices, that makes the game just a little easier, because it's tough. It's tough to win a game, yet alone, get on a run and do the things that Woodlawn has been able to do the last, 15 years. So it's not easy. Our guys know that. They understand that. They have to continue to work hard. I think they know that they're going to have a bullseye on their back no matter what. We get everybody's best game, and that's good. That's the way we want it, and that's the only way you can learn to play at a high level and continue to get better every day.
Well, Brian, that's a key thing right there. I've always said that winning breeds winning, because everybody gets a taste of it and everybody loves a winner. But also, when you have that success, it takes you to another level, because you can't be satisfied, because if you are, you become just one of the have-beens instead of the team that everybody's shooting for.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody likes to win. Everybody, I think that's a lot of the goals for most people. But it's not easy. You got to put in a lot of work, a lot of time. Whenever you do have success, like we've said, everybody, you get their best shot. That's, most people highlight that game, and if they can beat you, then that kind of makes their year. We've had a lot of kids that have had some success. Obviously, we lost a lot from last year, but we still have a couple big pieces from last year that kind of got a taste of that run that we went on. And I think that's only going to, push them in the right direction and help them kind of lead our other guys that maybe don't have necessarily the experience of the varsity playing time. And we're them a lot. I think it means more coming from the kids than it does from an adult or from the coach. And I think that we definitely have that. We got good leadership in our guys. And we're definitely going to look for them to continue that.
Well, I think one of the key successes is not only are you having success at the high school level, but at that junior high level where there's a lot of fundamentals and things being learned and taught, those teams are continually over there at Rend Lake College at that junior high state tournament, and they get to feel that success and experience at an early age.
Yeah, and that's huge. I think that any time you have kids that are young that are playing, that's important. They need to continue to play. They need to continue to work on the fundamentals, the skill, ball handling, shooting the basketball correctly. And, you will start to see, and you have seen that's why that we've had the success that we've had, is that our kids, they play a lot. I listened to the interview of Claire Miller, and she said it best. She talks about how much work that she's put in, and she plays a lot. There's no secret. You don't wake up one day and get good at anything that you're doing. You've got to commit to showing up every day and working on your game and building your skill. And we have a lot of kids in the community that like to do that, whether that's basketball or another sport. They like to put the time in, and I think they understand what it takes to be good. We're obviously hoping that continues, and I think it will, because we've got just a lot of wonderful and tremendous people in the community that care about the kids, and that needs to be priority number one, and I know that it is.
Well, Brian, not only is it in athletics is just something, but in the game of life, I thought I was a pretty good farmer till Mother Nature's really been testing me here the last few weeks, and I'm about to decide I ain't very good.
Yeah, there's always things that happen. You got to fight through adversity, and it's never going to be easy, and there's always going to be, obstacles that get in your way. And of course, for me, it's been sports, and I've had a lot of things to do that, and we're going to try to teach our kids through sports. But you're exactly right. Most importantly, apart from the basketball side of it, we want our guys to be, good people. We want to teach them, how to be respectful adults and how to treat people the right way and carry themselves with class and respect. And like I said, we have a lot of just really, really good kids who do that.
Yeah, and along that line, I want to talk a little bit, Brian, with you about the fact that you've got really a servant's heart too, and the fact that you went overseas here recently and went on a very special trip. Talk about that with us.
I'm sorry, it cut out. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said I wanted you to talk a little bit about the trip that you made here overseas recently, and the fact that you've got such a servant's heart and what some of the things that you did there.
Yeah, so last summer, Coach Witzel and I and a couple of our basketball players, and actually a couple of other students and athletes from Woodlawn, we got to go to the Dominican Republic, and we got to serve on a mission trip. We went and had a 3-day basketball camp for a lot of kids ranging from all different kinds of ages. And we were able to talk about skill in basketball, but more than anything else, we were able to talk to them about having a relationship with the Lord and loving and learning about God, and it was just an amazing experience, and seeing the things that they go through and being able to visit different places and just seeing things that I think we take for granted around here. And it was just great for us and great for our guys to see that hey, these kids, they had nothing. Our basketball camp was outside. It was 110 degrees and playing on a blacktop, but they just loved it. Every day that we got there, when they saw us, their eyes lit up, and they were just excited and happy that, for a few hours, they got to kind of escape there every day and play basketball, and it was very, very important for them. And it was just, a very humbling experience for us. It was great to share that experience with Coach Witzel and some of our guys. It's obviously an experience that I will never forget, and I hope that our guys remember that and understand that they are very lucky and very fortunate to be in the position that they're in with having the ability to play basketball and live a good life. So it was quite an experience. I hope that they learned a lot from it. I know that I did, and it just was amazing to. Obviously, great that it was basketball, but more importantly, hoping that just even if one of them, commits to having a relationship with the Lord, that's what it's all about, and that's what's important, to me and Coach Witzel, and that's something that I've really enjoyed being around him, because when it's all said and done, that's more important than anything sports related.
Absolutely. A lot of things more important in life than basketball, and you just hit on it, and I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. Real quick before we let you go, I want to reflect back on the road that you've taken to get where you're at. Of course, I remember you playing as a player for the Mount Vernon Rams under Coach Doug Creel at Mount Vernon. You had a great high school career. You kind of were a late bloomer, a late developer. You had that late growth spurt, that type of thing, before you really shot up. You went on, though, and you played college basketball at Rend Lake College. You had a great career down there. And, of course, you coached for a while at Waltonville. You were head coach there. And of course, you assisted Coach Creel and your brother for a while at Mount Vernon High School. So you've kind of had a lot of experience from different aspects. You've had different mentors and things like that have gotten you to the place where you're at right now. Isn't that true, Brian?
Oh, you're exactly right. And, there's absolutely no doubt that I would not be in the position that I'm in today without all of the amazing coaches and wonderful people that I've been able to play for or coach under. We kind of were talking today. Actually, my dad and I were talking, and we were kind of talking about the timeline. And, whenever my first year out of high school, Coach Creel allowed me to kind of be on staff. My brother came in that year, and me and him did the freshman. And then from that point on, even when I was playing at Rend Lake, I just always knew I loved the game of basketball, and coaching was always going to be a priority and something that I wanted to get into. So even when I was playing at Rend Lake, I was an assistant for my brother, and learning from, obviously playing for Doug was just huge. I mean, he was the one that, instilled in a love and a passion for the game of basketball, which is why I knew I wanted to coach. And then coaching under him, coaching under my brother was just huge. I mean, that was kind of the most important time for me as far as developing into a coach. And he just was so good with X's and O's and motivating our kids. And I just, those 4 or 5 years were just amazing. And then, of course, I actually, I spent 1 year kind of helping Rend Lake College under Coach Wills. And so that was a great year. And then, I spent 2 years as a head coach at Waltonville, and the last 2 years an assistant at Woodlawn. So my dad and I were talking. I think I've been coaching for about 9 years since high school. It seems kind of crazy. It's just something that I've always loved, and I've been very fortunate, and I'm very thankful for Coach Creel, my brother, Coach Fortner, Coach Widgets, who helped me, and then of course, Coach Witzel and Coach Owens. These last 2 years, we just had an amazing time. Those are two great people who have helped me a lot. And I'm just very thankful that I've been able to work with such amazing people and great coaches.
Well, Brian, we are really, really happy for you, and we look forward to talking to you as you take over the reins of the Woodlawn Cardinals. We're going to have a lot of visits down in the future here on the Sports Couch together, and look forward to following you as you take over the reins there at Woodlawn. We want to wish you the best of luck and congratulations to you, okay?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on. You guys have a good weekend.
You too.
You
All
too,
right.
Brian.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's Brian Gamber, the new boys head basketball coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, and I think he's going to do just fine, and a neat road that he's taken to get where he's at, and I think it was a great selection for Woodlawn High School.
Well, not only that, but the guys he just mentioned, they're not going to leave him.
No.
They're going to have he's going to have access to them anytime.
That's a good point.
They're still going to be there in the supporting cast. They're
point.
just going to change their lifestyles a little bit and commit some more time to their families.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, stay tuned when we come back. We're going to visit briefly with Tommy Kent. He is the athletic director at Frontier Community College. We're going to talk to him about what's going on over there on the college with a new baseball field coming soon. That and more on the way next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Financial support for local Christian radio is provided by Realtor Mark Terry, broker for MG Foley Real Estate Incorporated. Mark Terry is a full-time realtor working for you. If you're buying your first home or your first home in many years, Mark Terry offers full-time service as you seek a new home. Mark's office is located at 2019 Broadway in Mount Vernon, and his phone number is 214-4317.
Support for the Vine Radio Ministry is provided by Quinn Law and Mediation, LLC in Mount Vernon. When faced with a legal problem, you may try to navigate your way through the courts and all that paperwork on your own, only to discover that the legal arena is a lot more complex and involved than you expected. Every attorney at Quinn Law and Mediation, LLC in Mount Vernon has at least 15 years of experience, providing a variety of legal services to the entire Vine listening area. They are committed to helping clients find practical solutions to current legal problems. You can reach them at 242-9580 or visit their website at mountVernonLawyer.us.
Hi, this is Bethany from Sledges Motor Sales, located at 1100 Salem Road in Mount Vernon. Sledges Motor Sales is in business to buy, sell, or trade your next car, truck, or SUV, or motorcycle. Our business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturday, 9 to 3. Our phone number is 242-5800, and our website is sledgesmotorsales.com. Sledges Motor Sales is a proud sponsor of 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Still to come on the show, we're going to be visiting with a couple of track stars from Hamilton County, as Leslie Drone and Raegan Halley are going to be joining us, Danny. That's going to be fun talking to them in a little bit.
Yes, it'll be fun to visit with these two young ladies this morning, and we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, and then also Frank Cusumano from KSDK-TV Channel 5 is going to be joining us this morning as well. We'll have a lot to talk to him about, the Cardinals, Blues, and who knows what all. So that's going to be fun having him on the show as well. So we invite you to stay tuned. And right now on the Sports Couch, we're going to visit with Athletic Director of Frontier Community College, Tommy Canty, joins us on the phone. Good morning, Tommy. How are you today?
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the show. And you're actually down in Marion today, hoping to play some tennis and a tennis tournament down there today. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Joe Pierce, he's held a tournament in memory of his father for probably the last 10 or 11 years. And it's a pretty big tournament. It's probably the biggest one in Southern Illinois. And so we come down and play that every single year, and it brings some really good players in from different places. The guy that I actually play this morning's from Alabama, and there's guys from U of I, there's guys from California. So it's a real fun time, and we just kind of hope the weather will hold off a little bit for us today. So.
Well, we hope so too. And this is actually singles and doubles down there, right?
Yeah. There's singles, doubles. There's mixed doubles. There's also youth division. They have the older divisions, the 55s and the 65s. So, yeah, it's a really, really good tournament, and Joe does a real nice job with it.
Well, if anybody's nearby and they want to see some tennis played today, weather permitting in Marion, tell us where the courts are at there, where the tournament's taking place.
The open division's over at the high school, so that's probably the best tennis that you're going to see. It's over at Marion High School, behind where they're building on to that, and then Russell Street has 6 courts, and there'll be a lot of tennis played there today. So you can catch some tennis at either place, and then I believe the consolation moves over to John A. Logan College. So anytime that anyone's over by John A., they can catch that second-round action over there.
All right. Excellent. Well, we wanted to have you on the show this morning because you've got something very special about to happen on June 7th on the campus of Frontier Community College. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we do. We're breaking ground for a baseball field June 7th at 10 o'clock in the morning, so should be a great event. We're pretty excited about it. It's been, a lot of planning, a lot of calculations, and we're excited to finally break ground and kind of take that next step forward with baseball. So it should be a great time.
Well, I know your new baseball coach, Jeff Baker, has been very busy along the recruiting trail, and he's signed several student athletes to become part of the inaugural season for Frontier Bobcats baseball, and it's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be exciting. We're sitting at about 19 kids right now. We'll probably be in the 24, 25 range. We've got some great kids. We've got some local talent up in some guys from Sisney, El Dorado, and Boonville, Indiana, which is kind of close to us. And then we've got some guys as far away as Canada, Puerto Rico, and Florida. So it's a nice mix, and Jeff and his assistant coaches have done a really good job on the recruiting trail, and we're just really excited to get it started and kind of, like I said, take another step for Frontier as we move forward.
Well, tell us geographically where this baseball field's going to be there on the campus. I know that you've had some housing that's under construction right now. Is the baseball field going to be right near there, or exactly where?
Yeah, it will actually be right next to our Bobcat Den, our fitness center, and our student center. And then it will be right across the street from where we're currently building our student housing. So it'll be real easy access for our baseball players that we're bringing in, and I think it will be a nice kind of tie-in for the campus, that there's a big field between our library and our Bobcat Den, and this will be something that really kind of connects it so that we just continue to grow as a campus.
Time frame on construction of a baseball field, how long is that going to take?
With this weather that we're having in June, who knows? Like I said, we're breaking ground on the 7th, and weather permitting, we hope to play our first game. I believe Jeff's got it scheduled for March 9th on our campus, and we just kind of keep our fingers crossed and pray a little bit and hope that we're blessed with steady progress and we end up with a field. So it's going to depend on that, I guess.
Well, certainly you've learned a lot, too, about the renovation of the existing softball field that you did a great job on at Southwest Park there in Fairfield for the Lady Bobcats softball team. I know that's been a learning experience, and I'm sure you'll take a lot of what you learn from that and put into this new field for baseball, won't you?
Yeah. There's a lot of, I guess, kind of overflow from what we did with softball, and we also met some really good contractors that know what they're doing, so that makes it a little bit easier for us. We're not really starting from scratch like we were with softball, trying to find contractors that do different work. We kind of know who those are now and can kind of get that process going just a little bit faster, and we still learn of some new ones, but we've got sod to get and dirt to get and fencing and the whole 9 yards with this one. Before we kind of had a canvas to start with, and now we're just kind of building it from the ground up. So there's still some stuff that we got to work some kinks out with, but I think we'll definitely get that done.
And you mentioned there's about 19 players already signed for the baseball program at Frontier, which means you got room for 4 or 5 more. If there's a hidden gem out there in Southern Illinois, that a baseball player that maybe is not signed or hasn't committed any place yet, there is a way for them to contact you or Coach Jeff Baker if they have an interest in playing baseball at Frontier, right?
Yeah, they can contact me out at the college, and then I can pass their information on to Coach Baker. We get a lot of calls for players that want to play, and we want to give each of them the opportunity to kind of show us what they have. And the easiest way to do that is to just contact me directly at the college and give me their information and their interest level, and I can pass that on to the coaches.
All right, and give us that phone number there at the college to reach you.
618-842-3711, and my extension is 4242.
All right, excellent. Well, Tommy, we appreciate your time on the Sports Couch this morning. Good luck today in that tennis tournament. I hope you get it in, and I hope maybe you can get a win or two down there, too, without getting injured.
Yeah. Well, that's always the hope, and I always say as long as I get a free T-shirt, I'm pretty happy with it. So it should be a fun day. So I appreciate the time, Randy.
All right, very good. Have a great weekend. Okay, take care.
Bye
bye. That's Tommy Kent, athletic director at Frontier Community College. And Danny, it's really exciting that they're having a baseball program now and building their own field right there on the campus, and great things happening at Frontier.
Frontier Community College over there, Randy, is just an up-and-coming thing, and they're going to do nothing but have more success. Look at the success this softball team had already this season in their first year, and what a great opportunity for a bunch of area students to have a chance to continue. That's the best part of the whole deal.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, earlier in the show, we had Claire Miller in studio with us, who really brightened up the studio, and now we're going to brighten up the studio again as we got a couple
two.
Two, yeah, this time two. It's 2 girls track stars, Leslie Drone
and Raegan Halley, both from Hamilton County, have joined us. Good morning, girls. How are you? Good to have you on the Sports Couch. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we're excited to have you. You just got back from the state track meet, didn't you? The Class 1A state track meet, and both of you ran in the 3,200 meter, and then Leslie, I think you ran the 1,600 meter.
That's right.
Is that right? Okay,
Mhm.
tell us about that.
It was an awesome experience, and I was glad to have Raegan go down with me. I'd never had another distance runner go with me, so it was nice to have someone to warm up with and cool down with. And another girl, Brianna Bowers, also went, and she threw the discus, and she did really well, so I was happy for her.
And how many times have you made it to the state track meet, Leslie? All 4 years or not?
I've made it every year in track, yes.
Wow, that's exciting. It really is. And I think overall, Leslie, you placed 20th in the 3,200 meter.
I think so.
Yeah, and Raegan, you were 28th. Is that right?
I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 28th. I think Dad's shaking his head, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's in studio with us here, too. But that's exciting, especially for a freshman, Raegan. You've got to be so proud and excited the fact that you were in the top 30 at the state track meet.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Well, you two young ladies have had great careers down there. One's just starting and one's finishing up. But talk about being able to run together and what that's meant to you.
It's been really great. The past couple of years, I hadn't really had anyone to run with, and so it's been really nice to have Raegan, and she's really funny. She makes it exciting.
Well, I'm sure you can remember when you were a freshman, too, right, Leslie?
Yes, I can, and I had a lot of fun people to run with, so I hope I've been that person for her.
Raegan, talk about Leslie being a role model for you.
She set a lot of examples that are going to be hard to try to be able to
duplicate them.
Yeah, but it's a challenge.
Oh well, and I'm sure that the friendship and the bonding you two have developed is something that'll be special to you the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to be going on and doing this same thing at the college level, Leslie. That's exciting. You're going to go to the University of Southern Indiana, right?
Yes, I'm so excited.
And you're going to do both cross country and track and field there?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us how you made the selection to USI and how that came about.
Well, I'd visited a few other colleges like McKendree and Eastern, and I was honestly just totally set on Eastern because they had a lot of great people there, and I really liked their coach. But my mom and Aaron Bonner convinced me to go visit USI, and I couldn't believe how much I loved it when I got there. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just felt right. The campus was beautiful, and they have a great cross-country team, and it's right next to Evansville, so there's a lot of fun things to do around there, and I really love it.
Well, it's close to home. Your mom and dad
It is.
be able to come see you. I'm sure they're excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So talk about the training. Talk about what you girls have had to go through to prepare for this, because you just don't wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to run the 3,200 meter, the 1,600 meter, and do it at the level that you have. Talk about all the work you've put in.
Well, it's all about consistency with distance running. A lot of times you don't feel like doing it, but you just have to find motivation from somewhere and use that to keep going. It's a lot of miles and a lot of intervals, but I'd say we both think it was worth it.
And during your career, Leslie, I mean, you've seen constant improvement each year. You've been to the state track meet 4 times, but if you reflect back to your freshman year and you look at your times and you see what you did, and then you step up, you get a little bit better each year. Talk about the progression you made.
Yeah, it was definitely a good progression. My senior year wasn't quite as good as a couple of the years before, but it was still very comparable, so I was happy with it. My junior year, I had the most success with cross country especially, but a lot of female distance runners aren't able to keep their times throughout the years, so I'm glad that I was able to stay somewhat consistent, and hopefully I'll get even better in college. So.
Well, we were talking a little earlier off there that you're getting ready to get your summer training program from the college. What are you anticipating there? Is it going to be a lot harder than what you've been doing over the summers?
I would say it will be, yeah, but I'm very excited, and I can't wait to get down there for the actual season and run with all of those girls. I've never been able to do that with a whole bunch of girls who are good, so.
Well, it'll definitely be a challenge to you to step it up. Raegan, are you going to work with her this summer?
I hope so. I honestly haven't thought much about the summer so far.
Well, you just finished up a long, enduring season. Yins have had to log a lot of miles throughout the past month or 2 or 3. And I'm sure Yins are ready for a little break, a little downtime, and then it'll be time to start up and go again, won't it?
That's right.
Reagan, when you got up to the state meet, of course, being a freshman, it was your first experience up there. I'm sure you probably had to be maybe a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I was
Did
pretty nervous.
Did it really help to have Leslie there with you, knowing that she'd been there 3 previous times and could kind of help you through the nerves?
Yeah, because I had no clue what to do or where to go. And
Well, now that you've experienced it, I guess you want to make return trips, don't you?
yeah, hopefully for the next 3 years like Leslie.
Yeah. Have you got you a new running buddy for next year? You got you somebody talked into getting involved in this?
I hope Kaylee Chapman will run with me for the next few years.
Well, that's good. It's always good to have somebody to push you and challenge you, and I'm sure Leslie will tell you that you've been an inspiration to her and made her work harder because you were always nipping at her heels.
Yeah. When you were a freshman, Leslie, thinking back on that, was there a role model or somebody that you looked up to or somebody that made you interested in track and field and cross country at that time? Or how did you get motivated to start doing it?
Well, there were several dedicated people on the girls and boys teams, especially Will Donaldson, Kayla Kiefer, Aaron Bonner. Those are and Michael Butler. Those are just a few that stand out to me, but Coach Lee had the most to do with it.
Yeah.
He taught me from the beginning how to be good, so.
Talk a little bit about your coaches. You had Coach Lee, and now you have Coach Wilson. Talk a little bit about him, girls. Tell us your experiences with those guys.
Well, have you ever had Coach Lee?
I never had Coach Lee.
She's just had Coach Wilson, and Coach Wilson has done a great job taking over. He's carried it on well.
He's a pretty dedicated runner himself, isn't he?
Yeah. I saw him just last night sprinting around town, it looked like.
That's great. So what's the longest distance that either one of you have gone out and run in one setting?
I ran a half marathon in between the cross country and track season.
Did you really? 13.1.
How'd you like that?
It was not fun. It was like 13 degrees outside, and it was crazy.
Oh, boy. How about
Who talked you into that?
Kaylee Chapman.
Okay. How about you, Leslie?
I've never done a half marathon. I would really like to, though. The farthest I've ever gone is 10 miles. I've done that a few different times just for training runs, but that's about as far as I've gone. I'd like to kick it up a notch, though, and maybe go a little bit farther this summer.
Do you know some of the other girls who are going to be in the program there at USI, where you're going to be at?
I don't know them personally, but I've been talking to them over Facebook and things like that, and I just found out who I'm rooming with, and I think I'm really going to like all 3 of them.
Great.
So.
Awesome. And you're going to be close enough to home to where family members and friends can still go over and watch you and visit and that type of thing if they would like to. So that's cool.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great experience, and Leslie run like the wind drone.
I like that. It's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have to come up with something for Raegan now, won't we?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. So what you got planned now that school's out?
You're not chasing boys or anything like that, are you? Huh?
No. Whatever.
Dad's kind of sitting over here on the couch, kind of smiling a little bit.
I seen some pictures of them in some pretty fancy dresses, and they had boys with them that night.
Yeah, they both clean up really well, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they sure do.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, Leslie's rocking the Foxes T-shirt this morning, though. I like that.
I
am.
am.
Yeah, cross country.
Pretty cool.
It is a good-looking T-shirt. It sure is.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, between cross country and track, do you have a preference of one or the other, or?
Cross country,
really?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like there's more bonding with that because everyone's running the same race. There's not a bunch of different events like in track
Good point.
break it up.
Yeah, good point. Okay. Now, at the collegiate level, though, they run farther at cross country at the collegiate level than you do in high school, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot farther for boys sometimes, but it's not too much of a change for girls, I don't think.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure the training regimen will be quite different.
Well, I tell you something I've observed.
What's that?
When Leslie was a freshman, her dad used to run with her quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Now that Leslie's a senior, her dad stands on the sideline and watches Leslie run.
Smart man.
Yeah, I miss those days when he ran with me. He would, but he had back surgery, and he's not allowed to run anymore. But I wish he could, because I loved those days when we could race our intervals and all of that.
I'm sure he's just as proud of you, though. I'm sure he's very proud of you.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Raegan, I know you got some proud parents, too, that are excited about what you've accomplished already as a freshman.
Yeah, Raegan and her mother, they race, and her mother's just quit because all she sees is her leaving her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Mom's actually the one that got me started running.
Really? Well, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
I can remember being little and me following her on the road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now she follows you.
Actually, Jackie gets on a horse now and follows her, probably.
The car.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Well, girls, we really appreciate you coming in this morning. It's been fun having you on to talk about your success, and what an accomplishment to qualify and make it to state, and then to get to state and to be there racing on that final day, to make the finals in the 3,200 meter. And again, Leslie, you finished 20th and Raegan 28th, and we just applaud you and congratulate you on a great season and a great career for you, Leslie. I mean, you've done some special things there at Hamilton County.
Thank you.
You really have.
20 years from now, it'll mean a lot more to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really will.
Yeah. All right, girls. Well, thanks again. Appreciate it. Okay.
We're going to keep
having us.
We're going to keep following you, young ladies. We want to talk to you and some more down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to have Frank Cusumano from KSDK-TV Channel 5 joining us. We'll talk to him about the Cardinals, the Blues, and lots of other things coming up on the Sports Couch. Stay with us.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Underwriting on the Vine is made possible by Fairfield Printing and Graphics. They specialize in screen printing of t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies with your favorite team name and colors. They also do printing of envelopes, stationery, posters, and business cards, and they also make outdoor banners in a variety of sizes and colors. Fairfield Printing and Graphics is located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield. Their phone number is 842-4048.
Prominent Technologies in McLeansboro is an underwriting supporter of the Vine. Chad May and Prominent Technologies specialize in computer and laptop repair, IT system upgrades, virus protection software, digital security camera installation, and on-location consulting. Prominent Technologies are computer problem solvers, and they have a long list of satisfied customers. Their phone number is 643-7114, and they are located just north of the square in McLeansboro.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment, and right now we're going to visit with Frank Cusumano. You know him best as one of the sportscasters on KSDK-TV Channel 5 in St. Louis. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Great to be with you, Randy. Hope you're well.
Oh, yes, and I guess you started off your day throwing some batting practice this morning. Tell us about that.
Oh, I have a son who plays for the St. Louis Gamers, and they have a big tournament today at St. Louis University. They're 16U, so they bring out my raggedy arm to throw my 55-mile-an-hour heater, and a lot of confidence against it.
I love that, a 55-mile-per-hour heater. I love it. That's great. All right. Well, hey, let's talk about the Cardinals. We're off to about a 50-50 start here, and the starting pitching is kind of struggling right now. We've had plenty of offense, but we're really struggling with the starting pitchers this year, aren't we?
Well, it really is. Like heading into last night, their starting staff ERA was 19th in the big leagues. Last year, it was first and one of the best starting staff ERAs in the last quarter of a century. If you want to know why this is basically a 500 team, there it is in a nutshell. It's all about the starting pitching. It's just so erratic. I mean, you had Wainwright and Leake, who couldn't get anybody out early, now pitching well. And then you had Garcia, Waka, and Martinez starting well and now struggling, with the exception of Jaime's outing last night. So I still think, Rick Majerus used to have this line that you are your record. I think with this Cardinal team, I'm not ready to say that yet, because I don't believe that Garcia, Martinez, and Waka have forgotten how to pitch. So if they get it together, this is not a 500 baseball team.
Well, Frank, how much longer, though, and how much more can people keep saying, well, the Cardinals are going to get it figured out? How many more starts does Watka seems to be the biggest concern to me right now. Martinez, he's kind of lost it, but I look for him to get it back. But I just don't think Watka's right. He doesn't even remotely look like the same pitcher he was.
Yeah, the good news is that his velocity is fine. The bad news is, at 6'6", there's a lot of things that can go wrong with his delivery. And his release point, just altered a couple of slight inches, has a major effect on him not getting the ball down. I think the easiest way for all of your listeners can relate to this is that if you are a golfer and everybody hits a golf club, you know that if you do something that's slightly off, that's going to affect it's going left, it's going right. And with Waka, you got a lot of moving parts in this long body, and he's slightly off, and that makes a slight difference, and the ball's getting up, and they're just driving the ball against him. I think he's healthy, and that's the good news.
I was wondering if maybe he might be tipping some of his pitches, particularly his off-speed stuff, that like maybe they seem to know when it's coming, because they seem to be getting a lot of their big hits, extra base hits on, either the changeup or the curve.
Well, Randy, that's a great point. Let's face it, the reason that this guy, burst onto the scene and was basically unhittable was he had that knockout pitch, that changeup, and that thing's not working right now. And then who knows? Tipping may be an issue too.
Well, Frank, talk about the importance of Jose Oquendo. Don't you think you're seeing that in the defensive liabilities with the Cardinals this season?
By the way, I'm talking with who now?
This is Danny Anselment.
Oh, great, Danny. Great to hear your voice. Yeah, thank you. Danny, here's what I think, is that there's no question Jose Oquendo would be a great thing, especially for a guy like Aledmus Diaz in the baptism of his major league career. But I will say this. David Bell and Bill Miller have picked up a lot of ground balls and overachieved and defied what scouts said about their ability because they worked really hard and they were really smart. Would Oquendo help? Yeah, but are these two really good coaches? Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt these guys are, but I just think Jose, the way he can relate to some of these young players and some of that, I think they're really missing his leadership.
There's no question. I mean, he is the modern version of George Kissel. And, I think you touched on a good point, is the way he relates to these players. Just great personal skills. And, after Red Cheney, he's probably hit more fungos than anybody in Cardinal history.
Well, Frank, I look at him as one of these guys with like a player with Diaz. He knows when to pat him on the back, and he knows when to chew him out.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I will say this, and I happen to know Bill Miller real well, and he's a fellow DeSmet high school graduate like myself, so I know that this guy has got great communication skills. And I know that he was a 5'10" kid that nobody wanted and, wins a World Series and a batting title. He knows about work, and he knows about how to relate to players. I think he's going to be a manager one day, too.
Well, despite the concerns that we've had with the starting pitching, Frank, we got to be real excited about the offense, particularly, the surprise of Aledmus Diaz and some of the other guys who've come along, Hazelbaker and whatnot. So offensively, the Cardinals are right there at the top of the stats in virtually every category. So we're scoring runs, we're hitting for average, we're hitting for power. That we all have to be excited about as Cardinal fans.
Yeah, it's equally surprising from going first to 19th in ERA, from going 24th in runs to basically leading Major League Baseball in almost every offensive category. And you got guys that, I don't think it's going away. I think, Hazelbaker is going to be a really good fourth outfielder the entire season. They had that kind of pop off the bench. I mean, if Moss is not a starter and he gives you 20 home runs in a reserve role, that's insane. And then you have Stephen Piscotty, who is the best player on the 2016 Cardinals. I said this last night on television. But if you factor everything, you look at all the tools. Now, I know he's not a speed demon. He's a good base runner. But if you factor in the way he catches the ball, the way he throws, hitting for average, hitting for power, he's your best player. Matt Carpenter could end up with 30 home runs this season. Diaz may end up hitting 300 from the shortstop position. You just have so many weapons. It's absolutely stunning how good this offense can be. Now, granted, this offense is really good against sub-500 teams, and they're not quite as good against the Nats, the Cubs, and the Pirates.
Okay, now my next question, Frank. When Peralta comes back into the mix, who's the odd man out?
Well, let's just say when Peralta comes back, he plays about 4.5 times a week at short. So Diaz gets about 2.5 starts there. He gets a start at third. That puts him up at 3.5, and maybe 2 starts at second. So look, they're not going to bench this kid. Colton Wong is going to get squeezed some, but I don't think they want to completely bury him either. But, some guys are going to miss some playing time. Matt Carpenter is going to play some first base here. The one thing that's Carpenter's not going to be deprived of at-bats. Diaz probably won't be deprived of many at-bats either. So, look, and here's the thing about Peralta. Even though he hasn't hit in Springfield or Peoria in his early stops here, is we are talking about a guy who led the team in home runs the last couple of years. We're talking about a guy who's been to 3 All-Star games. You don't think Johnny Peralta is going to improve your team, getting that everyday steady play at shortstop? Yeah, this is going to be it's almost like a trade deadline move getting Johnny Peralta back.
Well, that was my anticipation there, Frank. Colton Wong, maybe this will be a motivating factor to him. Maybe he can see, hey, I'm going to have to pick things up or I could be the guy out. But another guy in the mix now, Greg Garcia. It's going to be pretty tough to send him back down, the impact that he's made, not only now, but over the last season and a half.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Daniel Descalso that first year when Descalso, every time he came up in a clutch hitting situation, he absolutely delivered. Now, Descalso turned out to be, not quite as good after that, but that's the way Garcia is now. And it's a little bit like Piscotty, too, in that it's a rare situation where the guy hits better in the major leagues than in the minor leagues. He was hitting 270 in Memphis, and he's hitting over 600 for the Cardinals. But I really like his bat. And what's going to have to happen is, this is really going to be difficult because, when Peralta is healthy, you may just have to part ways with Tejada. I think it's only about $1.5 million. It's not a great deal of money. You don't want to send Garcia back to the minor leagues. Tejada really can't help you because you had him up for defense, and now that Peralta's back, you really don't need him.
Well, Tejada's not come in and made the kind of impression that the Cardinals thought they might. They took a chance, and I don't think that's worked out very well.
Yeah, it's $1.5 million. It's a lot to the three of us, but nothing to the Cardinals.
All right, well, let's switch gears here to the St. Louis Blues. I know it's disappointing to you. We really thought this was the year they would be playing for the Cup, but fell a little bit short, losing to the Sharks, but still a great season, right, Frank?
Oh, I think it really was. I mean, you get 107 points while navigating through an injury-plagued season. You get to the conference final, a place you haven't been since 2001. It was definitely a terrific season. What happened was that when they had the lead in Game 5 and they gave that up, that was it. Mm-hmm. I didn't think they were going to win a Game 6 in San Jose, but if you want to look back, how do you give that lead up in Game 5? I really thought I'd be doing live shots last night at the Scott Trade Center for Game 7 when they took the lead. It just didn't work out that way.
Why do you think that the home record in the playoffs just wasn't very good? They just couldn't get it done at home in the playoffs, and it's hard to understand why. What do you think?
Well, two quick thoughts. One is, in the National Hockey League this season, in the postseason, I think it's dead even of home team and road team wins. Maybe it's a one-game margin. So it's kind of like that all over the league. That's number one. And with the Blues specifically, what players told me is they play a much more simple game on the road. They don't try to get too cute, and they do that great bonding, the night before the game. There's just a closeness on the road. in the NFL, the night before home games, players all still go to a hotel to get away from family, get away from friends. Maybe that should be something to be thought about in the postseason for hockey teams.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is a good point.
Now, I understand that they're going to do some renovations to the Scott Trade Center. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and it's dramatically needed. You know, on the outside, we think, yeah, it's kind of a good-looking building. But it's 22 years old. The seats have to be replaced. The Jumbotron has the quality definition of your grandmother's old Magnavox. That place needs work. And here's the thing. It's not just the Blues who benefit. Frank Viverito, president of the Sports Commission, this summer is about to sell our city to the NCAA for the Frozen Four, for the wrestling championships, for NCAA regionals, for figure skating championships. And he can't do it with a building that is old, that hasn't had any work done. I mean, this thing is like an aging Hollywood actress. It needs a facelift.
Well, now that the Rams are gone, you think we're looking at maybe a possible franchise for soccer, or could we use these renovations of the Scott Trade Center to try to dangle a carrot out to a struggling NBA franchise?
Well, I'd love to see the NBA here, and to let everybody know just how popular the NBA is on Tuesday night, the NBA Western Conference Final between the Thunder and the Warriors, as opposed to the Eastern Conference NHL Final between the Lightning and the Penguins. The NBA had 6 times the amount of viewers. But with all that said, I don't think the NBA is coming here. I think there's a real strong possibility for the MLS. I mean, when the commissioner is basically saying we want St. Louis, there are a lot of movers and shakers here. I think the principal owner, though, is going to come from outside the city, but I think there's going to be a lot of minority owners from St. Louis involved.
Well, and any time they've done soccer at Busch Stadium, there's always been huge crowds. There's just a great following for soccer in the St. Louis metro area, isn't there?
Yeah, as my friend Bill McDermott likes to say, it's the birthplace of soccer in the United States. I mean, we still, even though St. Louis University doesn't win national championships in soccer, we still turn out as many Division I's, as any city in the country.
Yeah, you mentioned that he was going to try to sell the Scott Trade Center for the NCAA. I've always thought that St. Louis is a great central meeting point for the NCAA tournament. I hope that we can continue to draw the NCAA tournament to St. Louis, particularly sometime have a Final Four. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, they do a little bit of work, and they do need some public money. I mean, we don't get any help from public money, the Scott Trade Center. In the last 4 years, the Blues have personally sunk in $8.5 million. And the Blues are not like NFL owners. They're not rolling in the dough with billion-dollar television contracts. So they've gone to Jeff City and tried to, they've got some bills in front of the congressmen and the state legislators to try to approve some public funding for, the Scott Trade Center. And it's interesting, Randy, that the people out west, from west of the state in Kansas City, the ones that voted for a new practice facility for the Kansas City Chiefs with taxpayer money, they're all saying, oh, no taxpayer money for St. Louis. So we'll see what happens with that.
Interesting stuff. Frank, always a pleasure to have you on the Sports Couch. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We love what you do there on KSDK-TV Channel 5, and keep up the good work, and thanks for your time today, okay?
Anytime. It's great to be with you guys. Take care.
All right. Have a good weekend. Alrighty. Bye-bye. It's Frank Cusumano, sportscaster for KSDK-TV Channel 5. Some great insight there by him, both on the Cardinals and the Blues, Danny.
Yeah, I was listening to a talk show yesterday about the Blues, and one of the topics was, do you think there's a major moves in the line for the Blues, or do they just need a piece or two? And everybody that was talking on that show yesterday thought they're so close that they just need to tweak it just a little bit. They thought that the playoffs kind of brought to the forefront a few deficiencies they have. But basically, if they can get all their free agents re-signed that they have, they thought 1 or 2 pieces were all they really needed to be at least better than they were this year.
I thought it was a great point that he made about teams bonding together in a hotel on a home game for football, but, it's not done in hockey, and maybe it needs to be.
Gets everybody focused.
Yeah, because on the road,
Get you away from the distractions.
The Blues did play very well on the road this year, not only in the regular season but also during the playoffs. But something was missing at home. They just didn't have that edge at home, and maybe that's a step that could help do that. That's an interesting point.
You know, even in high school athletics, a lot of times teams play better on the road than they do at home because of all the distractions.
Yeah. But I love the fact that they are going to spend the money to renovate the Scott Trade Center and further attract the NCAA tournament, maybe get a Final Four. You know, that building can be used for a lot of different things, and with St. Louis being essentially located, you know, along the interstates the way it is, you know,
basically they're right in the center of the Midwest.
Yeah,
they can send a lot of teams there. I would think it'd be a great venue for a Final Four.
Yeah, it's a magnet for a lot of sports, so good to see that, and great to have Frank on the show this morning. Hey, it's been a busy one. We're out of time already, Danny. It's just a little after 10 o'clock, and we want to thank all of our guests this morning: Dave Rigg, Claire Miller, Brian Gamber, Tommy Kent, Leslie Drone, Raegan, Halley, and Frank Cusumano. Been a good show.
Yep, appreciate those young ladies taking their time out of a Saturday morning to come visit with us. It's always nice to have them in studio. We don't get that opportunity very often.
No, we don't. And we have recorded today's show as well with video, and so we will upload this a little bit later on, not only to our YouTube channel, but it'll be available on Futiva television in the Hamilton County area, as well as to the cable television viewers that are on some of the other cable systems in about 13 different communities. So great chance to do that this morning, particularly having those folks in studio with us. So it's been fun.
Yep, been a nice time.
Well, Danny, I hope the rain lets up so that maybe you can get some work done in the field. All right.
We need it.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back next week with our final show of the high school sports season. I hope that you'll join us as well. The Sports Couch at 8:30 next Saturday morning. 90 minutes of great local sports talk right here on The Vine and on AreaSports.net. Have a great weekend, everyone. So long.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.